How you doing? This is Nathaniel Soaps Sports Setting. Today I want to talk about Kylian Mbappe from France, and I want to talk about Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi got his first win with the Inter Miami team. He won off a penalty kick. But one of the amazing things about that game is we've seen many celebrities at the game. We've seen LeBron James, Kim Kardashian. We saw a lot of famous YouTubers. This is just great for the MLS. It was a sold out game again. Again in my previous video about Messi, uh, we talked about how the game of soccer is growing in the United States. You know, of course, it's growing all across. It's been growing all across the world, especially Europe, Africa, but it's really blowing up here in the United States. And again, Messi played a great game, got the win, and like I said, just great to see so many celebrities at the game. Of course, as you know, Miami is just a hot spot, a hot city for celebrities, a hot city for a lot of rich and famous people. Rick Ross just purchased a mansion off of one of the famous secluded islands in Miami. And going into more about soccer as an international sport, Kylian Mbappe, who's a really famous soccer player, helped France get a World Cup, I believe in 2018, I believe, or 2019, helped win the World Cup. Been one of the top soccer players. He's an Afro France player. His father's from Cameroon. He just received the offer from the Saudi Arabian, one of the teams in the Saudi Arabian League, for $1 billion. Now they've offered players before 500 million, 600 million. They even tried to get Messi, but they lost Messi to the MLS, and they just offered Mbappe $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? And talked about this before that now the $1 billion athletes are not just athletes who invest in making these investments in shoes and restaurants. Now athletes are making more money than ever with just their money from sports. You know what I'm saying? The starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs got $500 million. We've seen so many basketball players. Like I said, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback got 500 million. We've seen so many basketball players getting max contracts of 250 million. You know what I'm saying? So they're getting max deals, and this is not even to mention their shoe deals. So players like back in the day, like Derrick Rose, got like 150, 200 million. So on top of that, with a $250 million contract, and now soccer players are getting $1 billion contracts. The Saudi Arabian League is really doing its best to grab as many stars as possible. They are really fighting to make their league popular. They're spending whatever money they need to spend to get the top players. Kylian Mbappe is only 24 years old, so he's one of the top players. He currently makes 72 million in France for the PSG team. And now you're talking about $1 million deal, man. That changes everything. Cause so if they offer one player 500 million, one player 600 million, another player a billion. The next player is going to ask for point 0.5 billion or 2 billion. So it's only going to keep skyrocketing. And Saudi Arabia is really uh, fighting to blow their league up. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the only thing that Saudi Arabia or the UAE or Qatar has against them is the rules in their country and on that side. They have the money, but it's just the living when it comes to Europe and when it comes to the United States. It's just the rules. We've seen a young lady who's her name is Sassy Trucker, and she got arrested and possibly will get a couple months up to a couple years just for screaming. Women can't scream, and I believe also there was a couple in the UAE. They were arrested for PDA, so no public display of affection. And when the World Cup was in Qatar, I believe only rich people could drink at the stadium or outside the stadium or something like that. So regular regular citizens and people just watching the game, a lot of people who traveled all over the world, they cannot, they were not able to drink alcohol inside the stadium, or I believe they couldn't even purchase alcohol. So the only bad thing that Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar they have in the area is the strict lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? The very strict lifestyle living. But other than that, like I said, they have the money. So even if they're getting $1 billion, I mean the good thing with the younger players is they may not care as much with the strict living during the soccer season in Saudi Arabia. You know, they're young. They probably don't necessarily have a family yet, have children yet. But like a person like Messi who has a family, has a wife and kids, it's going to probably be harder for Saudi Arabia to, even if they're offering 500, 600, 800, $1 billion, to get those older players with families to play in that league with such strict rules with, you know, people having kids and things like that. So it's a lot, like I said before, it looks better to come to the United States and or go or stay in Europe and play. Um, but Kylian Mbappe is a young player. He's only 24 years old, so he could probably go play, make his $1 billion, and come back to the European League. But like I said, soccer is growing. I would like to see what the MLS is going to do to rival Saudi Arabia. Like, what are their plans? So, I mean, we could see Saudi Arabia to keep going to attract younger players and MLS focus on the older players, like right before they retire, to get some of those top players. So, like a Mbappe, when Mbappe gets about 35, 36, we may see him come over to the MLS or gets, you know, his mid 30s, just like we seen Messi. So, that could be the strategy for the MLS is to start getting these older players with families to come over. Saudi Arabia will try to attract the younger players, give them as much money as possible in the beginning. But you know, with the Saudi Arabian league, you know, we haven't seen too much as far as in the United States on TV or in the media. So we really don't know. You know, we know the famous people in Saudi Arabia and their prince and their, you know, their kings are showing up to the game, but you know, the MLS, you know, they have what them have a celebrity showing them is a huge thing. And then, excuse me, and like I said before, what the MLS has over, uh, what the MLS has over Saudi Arabia and Europe is our fans. Like, racism is in the United States, right? But like I said, you just don't have fans. You have fans saying racial slurs, but you don't have the whole fandom as a whole screaming out racial slurs and chanting racial slurs like in Europe. And then the MLS doesn't have, like Saudi Arabia is so strict. So like I said before, if fans are saying something too crazy at a football game or especially a basketball game, they could be removed or kicked out. We just seen a YouTube star. I can't remember his name. Jetty, and I believe it is, or Demarcus Cousins, as he says his name is. Uh, he did a skit where he went to sleep at a WNBA game, and he was canceled from all WNBA, NBA, and NBA games. So, one thing for sure is the organizations in the United States are not going to allow fans to just do anything. You know, you may get away with it, as you know, sometimes, but uh, they don't play. They are really serious in the United States about protecting the athletes, and that's going to be something we haven't really seen with Saudi Arabia. I have not yet to see a Saudi Arabian game on TV or you know, it posted online to see how the fans are and things like that. And you know, the Inter Miami game is now streaming on Apple TV. So how much more money could the MLS offer athletes once they get bigger TV deals? And bigger TV deals are coming with all the celebrities showing up, especially for those teams in great cities like L.A., New York, Chicago, the Chicago Fire, team, you know, my Inter Miami. So now we see the St. Louis team is doing really well. So like I said, the Saudi Arabian League is really challenging to get a lot of the stars. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just don't think they can rival the lifestyle and what's going on in the United States. It just, when will the MLS start offering those huge contracts? You know, not just 20, 30 million, but how long will it take for the MLS to start offering 250 mil, $500 million? And I don't think it's going to take long. And I think it's going to be, I think once the MLS start offering $100 million, $200 million, $300 million contracts to the athletes, once they start getting the bigger TV deals, I think it's going to be hard for the European leagues and Saudi Arabia to keep up with the MLS, with the teams and the leagues in the United States. Soccer is on the rise. You know what I'm saying? Soccer is on the rise, and there's no place to be like in some of the top cities in the United States. Like Chicago is one of the best cities. in the summer, and a lot of the soccer seasons, going on right now. This is the perfect time because there's really no football. There's really, baseball is going on, but there's no football. There's no basketball. So the only thing to rival soccer would be baseball in the United States and the WNBA. So I think once MLS starts offering these big contracts, it's gonna be hard for Saudi Arabia and Europe to catch up. But in all, congratulations to Messi getting his first win. You know what I'm saying? So happy for you, and I'm happy for the MLS with all the celebrities showing up to the game. And I really like how LeBron James supports a lot of athletes. You know what I'm saying? And also, congratulations to Colin Mbappe getting a $1 billion deal, man. That's huge to be a billionaire off of just playing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times these athletes they get so much money for playing, but then they got to make the smart investment. Not everybody's good at investing their money. Not everybody is good at playing the long haul. So just to think you can get $1 billion just for your God-given talent of being able to run faster than somebody or kick a goal at a certain way or just dunk on somebody and somebody give you $1 billion deal. That changes the game. So congratulations on that. And again, it's Nathaniel Swopes of Swope Center signing out, and you all have a good one.